Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with some more 5.0 stuff. We're going to be talking about the Nemesis Crown today, a brand new mechanic which is available to every single faction in Total War Warhammer 3. So this is a mechanic that always starts off in the Empire, and it's very similar to that of the Sword of Khaine, but also very different. You'll get a pop-up saying Visions of the Empire. The ancient and powerful artifact known as the Nemesis Crown whispers to you from somewhere in the Empire, promising great power should be taken in your stewardship. Visions flow your mind, revealing a glimpse of its location. The crown lies near a large forest in the Empire. Now, this is very important to talk about because it's a random location. It can be absolutely anywhere. If you already have armies or settlements in those locations, it will be easier to find, but it's totally random. In another campaign, it said it was near the mountains in the Empire, and well, there's a lot of mountains, and, well, there's a lot of forests too. So yeah, we have to go on a little bit of a search, but thankfully in this campaign I was able to find it literally on the same turn that it spawned. So once you do find it, a little green marker spawns in the map, and you get a little bit more information. Forged by the infamous Darwi runesmith, Alaric the Mad, the Nemesis Crown corrupts all it touches. Isolating every dark fort, it twists the mind of its wearer, leaving them hollowed out by madness. Now a horde of goblins has uncovered it, and claimed its power for their own. Whatever their intent, death and anarchy are sure to follow. So yeah, you gotta make your way up there, which doesn't really take too long. The AI will also try to claim this too, as far as I've been able to see, so yeah, keep in mind that that can happen, but they can also take it away and put it away somewhere else, which will then have it spawn in different locations across the map. When it's the case that the AI has gotten rid of it, it generally tries to be near you too. Now, the battle itself isn't really tough. You'll be fighting a horde of goblins in this specific area, but you might fight something else in different areas. The crown itself is pretty powerful, and you will be seeing quite a decent amount of damage coming in, but the battle to actually claim the crown, I mean, yeah, it's an ambush battle. You've already got the benefit there, and if you're playing as the Empire or pretty much anything that gets in there quickly, you'll be able to demolish these enemy forces very fast. I've got a fairly decent army too, as this is the one that I've been using for my Reichland video that came out yesterday. So I've got a lot of range, and I've got a lot of great swords, and I'm going to be doing a lot of damage. So yeah, this is going to be so quick that you won't even notice it. It's a cool way to get a little bit of extra XP, by the way, because, I mean, yeah. But with that easy battle out of the way, you get a little bit of lore. The timeless blackened power of the Nemesis Crown now rests in your hands, awaiting a choice that may impact the course of destiny and the fate of the entire world. You could seal the crown away, so that its evil may never threaten the world again, but of course, such power is always begging to be exercised. So, yeah, if you seal it, by the way, it doesn't actually get sealed properly. It comes back somewhere else after a certain amount of turns, but you can decide to take the crown, get some very nice bonuses. This will be to the army that the bearer has, to the character itself, also some abilities that you'll be able to see later on, and yeah, a lot of diplomatic relations with your current faction, like your race. However, every other faction will start to dislike you more and more. And as you level up the crown, you'll get more and more bonuses, because yeah, this levels up just like the Sword of Khaine, but in a very different sense. I really do like this. It does give you another reason to have another powerful item. I've not been able to use both the sword and the crown at the same time, which I really should. That would sound absolutely hilarious, to be honest. But yeah, you can choose to put it away, get some cash, get a few replenishment bonuses, and that's pretty much it. But why would you do that, right? For context, we all know how powerful Karl Franz is in melee combat as it stands. Now imagine him being pretty much a supercharged Mortis engine at the exact same time. That's literally what this thing does, and you're going to want to use that as much as possible. So yeah, you'll have a brand new thing in your UI, and that will show you that, yeah, you've got the crown there. It's a level 1 crown at the very beginning, and you have to use it constantly. If you want to keep the crown, you have to keep getting into combat. As you can see on the left of the icon, there is a 4 there. That means that I have to get 4 battles in to level it up. And on the right, there is a 7, right? That's the turn timer. If I don't get into combat within 7 turns, well, unfortunately, I will lose the crown. Now, don't you worry, if you end up in the lower turn scale, like 3, 4 turns and stuff, it will actually go and tick back up. It won't tick up all the way, but it's enough to make sure that you're always keeping the crown on you. So if you've got a pretty aggressive army, and if you've got some extra movement bonuses, you're always getting into combat pretty much every turn or two, that means that you'll be able to keep the crown as much as possible. Now, a thing that you want to know is that this crown keeps leveling. You'll be getting the option every time that you level it up that you can either keep the crown You get a little bit of lore there, pretty much the same thing as before, but yeah, it gives you options. It sometimes offers you more money, like, yeah, put it away, but it's not worth it. Believe me, you'll want to have it there and you'll want to do as much freaking damage as possible. And you can see here that each time I level it up, I'm getting more and more buffs. I'm getting more campaign movement range after battles and so on. My armies are getting better, but I'm spreading Chaos Corruption and my army is getting, well, a lot more expensive, which, not ideal. But at the end of the day, by this point, you'll be pushing away and pushing into so many areas that you'll be getting your economy up and running anyway. Also, just in case, because I know some people will ask, no, other armies will not benefit the crown. It's only the army that has the crown that needs to get into combat all the time. As a very important tip, try not to fully destroy the enemy armies, have them retreat, and that means that you can attack them again, get another tick. Just fighting the same army twice, and sometimes in that really rare circumstance 3 times, does count as 3 different battles. Same thing as attacking a settlement and so on, but you're better attacking armies because that means that you will actually keep on moving, or sacking settlements too. Taking settlements with this army is pretty much not a good idea because it will slow you down. Obviously, you know, taking over a settlement just takes off your movement, the remaining movement that you have. I'm using console commands for this showcase because obviously I want to be able to make enough videos, as you guys are aware. I usually rapid fire, but it doesn't take too long to kind of get it up and running, especially as France, as the Empire is quite close, and if you decide to go down into the Badlands, it's going to be a bit slower, but it depends. If you want to really take advantage of this, don't declare war with Vlad until you get the crown, and then use him to your advantage. Because obviously he'll spawn loads of armies, and yeah, it just goes so quickly for you. Naturally, you will become public enemy number 1, especially when you get to the end, which is what, like 100 minus diplomatic relations with every race in the Warhammer world. So yeah, do keep in mind that you will get dogpiled, but you should be used to it now with player bias. And yes, when the crown is fully leveled, you don't have to level it anymore naturally, but there is still a timer ticking down, so you still need to keep in combat to be able to keep the thing. Which again makes sense considering how powerful it is, because we're going to be checking that out in just a few seconds, and believe me, it can be pretty disgusting. But I think the best way of showcasing how this crown is, well, putting a battle in, and you know what? I'm just going to AFK. Literally, as I was recording this battle, I was spending more time responding to people on WhatsApp and Discord than actually paying attention to the fight. And I want you to just keep looking at Franz, because his attacks just go super insane. I have an ability which basically acts as a bombardment, which does a lot of damage, so if you're dealing with enemies and choke points, you'll be able to essentially delete armies. But when he gets into combat, that's when he really shines, because as soon as he touches an enemy unit, pretty much anything within a fairly large radius will just keep taking damage, like a mortis engine, but much stronger, to the point that I think by the end of this battle I had, what, 1,000 something kills, and I'm not using the army, I'm just putting them aside. I literally am not using the army, even though that they're getting loads of bonuses, just having Franz in there, being pretty disgusting. I think that the most damage that I took, because yeah, I was taking damage, was actually just the towers that the vampire counts were building up, and I just wasn't paying attention. So yeah, Franz did take a fair amount, but inconsequential for the amount of damage that was being done. Already, like, we're at near 200 kills. Yes, they're basic skeletons and so on, but they tend to have very high health pools, and yeah, the melting. The enemy armies are just melting. I wasn't able to get into a choke point battle to show its full potential, and that's because, well, that's how it works with Total War. When you want something to happen, it never does. But yeah, Franz becomes a one-man army in his own right. He was already really strong. I have intentionally not put any skill points into him just to showcase, well, just a few here and there. But he becomes an absolute terror on the battlefield, and it is so cool, man. It is essentially just Sword of Khaine 2.0, maybe even a little bit stronger. I do feel like the damage output is better in terms of just natural generating damage, when the Sword of Khaine has more better abilities, essentially. Well, even then, the ability for this one is pretty damn tasty too, if you can get the enemies to lock down. It will hurt your troops, remember that, it's very important, because, yeah, it's very easy to hurt your own dudes and accidentally delete some of your own favorite units. I will say that stuff like this is great because there's loads and loads of really crazy items in the Warhammer Fantasy universe, just like, well, the Sword of Khaine and now the Nemesis Crown. So it's nice to start seeing more and more of this being implemented, and it's better. The Sword of Khaine, it's just like, you know, the elves can pick it up and then you can take it from the elves, and the elves just have to build up a building. This has a little bit of lore flavor more, and it just feels a lot more you know, bringing the lore into the game, which, yes, Total War is still a sandbox game, but little tidbits here and there make it a lot better. I know a lot of people are really happy, for example, with Gotrek and the rework that's just come into effect for them, because, yeah, you get a little bit of, this is all his books as the skill lines. That adds a lot more flavor to the game. The lore fans will appreciate it. The ones who are just getting into Warhammer lore are going to appreciate it too, and it makes Total War feel a little bit extra. The fact that I'm a few minutes in and I've already got 800 kills is just absolutely insane. And again, I'm just pretty much AFKing. I'm literally just clicking go attack that and then picking up my phone and talking. It shows how the crown is just wow, right? I'm hoping that we'll start to see more of this type of stuff being implemented. More flavor is great, and hell, I've said it and a lot of people have been saying it. It would be good to go back to older stuff, like the Sword of Khaine, like the Green Knight and Krell, and giving them a little bit of an update to make them more in line with what we all expect from Warhammer 3. More stuff like this gives you more replayability. One thing that I've been thinking of doing is making the most potentially disgusting lord ever, which would be getting Taurox, the Sword of Khaine, and then going for the Nemesis Crown, and just seeing how much Taurox can do, which I imagine, I mean, Taurox by himself is strong. With the Sword of Khaine, he's terrifying, so add in the crown and it's just going to get even better. But yeah, not bad for an AFK weapon. And I know some people are going to complain saying, well, it's too powerful, it's too powerful. No, it's exactly how it's supposed to be from the lore, and yeah, it's supposed to be ridiculous, right? It's Warhammer. Nothing actually is normal. This is why you end up getting normal-sized dudes fighting against 10-foot giant cows with 4 arms, right? Let's hope Creative Assembly have some more wacky ideas for future content, especially as we draw closer and closer to Nagash. I'd love to see some implementation which would just be just so freaking out there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. There's only 2 videos today, by the way, but I will be live on twitch.tv/thegreatbookofgrudges. We're going to be playing Gelt with his new campaign. So essentially, it's Gelt in Vietnam. Should be kind of fun. And yeah, pop by and say hi. Have a great day, everyone.